Okay, the last question comes from Chile. And I think people know that very shortly after the earthquake that destroyed Haiti hit, the largest earthquake ever recorded, as I understand it, hit Chile. And actually, there was another massive earthquake there during their presidential inauguration just a couple of days ago. This question was submitted by Marcelo Rubilar from Puerto Montt, Chile. But it's a question that applies not only to Chile, but gets to some of the cultural issues that Lynn has addressed in general. So I thought it would be a worthwhile question to entertain before we ended. And he says, Mr. LaRouche, I'd like you to comment on the psychological effects that populations suffer under extraordinary circumstances, such as the 8.9 magnitude earthquake, which we just experienced here in Chile. What should sane citizens do to try to maintain calm and from there proceed with some emergency plan to restore a basic economic system? That is certainly what we face now in Chile, but which many people all across the globe face under different circumstances.
Well, first of all, this is a scientific problem, but there's also a general policy question. Normally, and this is a really impressive kind of earthquake scale. But normally, humanity knows this is true of the planet. The planet can produce some very nasty effects. We try to anticipate them and deal with them if we're right, and to fix them if it happens. What's happening now is people are saying there is no money available to develop the resources for dealing with these kinds of problems. So that's the problem. Essentially, it's a different disregard for what should be principles of humanity, principles of development. We're not spending the money. We're not generating it. We don't care. I think the more appropriate case to look at, because it illustrates the thing more clearly than Chile does, what illustrates the problem most clearly is Haiti. What's important is not so much the scale of the shock effect. What the important thing is that the level of the shock in Haiti, when taken at looking around the planet at comparable levels of shock, earthquake shock, Haiti is much worse. Why? Poverty, neglect. Look at the case in California. In that case, a comparable case in a sense. It's not certainly the magnitude of Chile. But look at it. Look at the number of deaths, casualties, and other things in the California quakes as compared with Haiti. What's the difference? Infrastructure. Therefore, the problem here is we should, when we know we have an earthquake zone, we should anticipate there's an earthquake zone and increase our standards and increase our ability to produce to deal with that kind of problem, to avoid putting people at risk, and to building systems that can withstand this kind of problem. And better research, better understanding, better forecasting, which is still weak. That's what we have to do. That's what we would do. The problem now is the answer you get is there's no money for this. How can we spend money for this when there is no money for this? We have to pay all this money to these swindlers. And we can't pay the swindlers if we do to fix these things. I have for shutting down the City of London and Wall Street. I think if we have to give up something which is superfluous, something we cannot afford at this time, it is London and Wall Street. We just cannot afford these things anymore. Sorry, buddy, but people come first.